On today's Smart 7, Trump fires Attorney General Pam Bondi, Ed Davey calls for visa ban for Kanye West, and much more. It's Friday, 3rd of April, it's Good Friday, and happy birthday, Eddie Murphy.
The Smart 7. It's news, but
not the news.
Donald Trump's White House speech didn't have any positive effect on markets on Thursday, as it remains unclear what exactly the American president's end game for the Iran war is. There were more Iranian strikes by US forces, including on a bridge under construction, which Trump posted to social media, and he was back complaining once again about NATO allies and the fact they hadn't helped the US with the war they weren't consulted on. He also debuted an impression of Prime Minister Keir Starmer, which wasn't particularly complimentary.
I said, you have two old, broken-down aircraft carriers. You think you could send them over? Oh, my team has to meet. We're meeting next week. Oh, next week? But the war already started. Next week. It's not good. The war's going to be over in 3 days.
The French president was also targeted by Trump, with Macron responding by suggesting that the US president should be more serious and not speak every day. Thursday also saw Trump's Attorney General Pam Bondi sacked, or transitioning to a new role in the private sector, as the president described it. He's apparently grown impatient with her over the Epstein files and the failure of prosecutions of his enemies, replacing her temporarily with Todd Blanche, his own defense attorney. Democratic Congressman Seth Moulton says the situation is ridiculous.
Basically, what's happening is he's replacing one child pedophile protector with another. That's what's going on. And that's just an embarrassment that that's the top justice official in the United States of America.
With just over a month until the local elections, Reform announced a U-turn on the so-called triple lock, which sees guaranteed rises in the state pension each year. Nigel Farage's party had threatened to scrap the measure last year, but they've now had a change of heart, in part because they're planning billions of pounds in cuts to social welfare. Nigel was defending the U-turn on Thursday, saying it's not intended to prioritise older voters.
We're not pitching old versus young. I think the young people have been betrayed terribly. You know, I mean, Rishi, when he was Prime Minister, he wanted everyone doing maths till they were 48, or whatever it might be.
Thursday also saw the Reform leader forced to sack his housing spokesman Simon Dudley after an interview in which Dudley criticised safety regulations introduced after the Grenfell fire. While he acknowledged that the event, which saw 72 people lose their lives, was a tragedy, he seemed more concerned about the regulations introduced afterwards.
Sadly, everyone dies in the end. It's just how you go. You can't stop tragic things happening. You can try to minimise excesses, but bad things do happen.
This week has seen Tory leader Kemi Badenoch pushing a campaign to licence more drilling in the North Sea as part of her party's response to the Middle East crisis. Despite warnings from unions and the exploration industry that new drilling would have no impact on the current crisis, she doubled down on Thursday in her attempts to blow up the government's proposed net zero by 2050 policy. She's now calling for a scrapping of carbon tax on British industries like manufacturing, power and aviation. The government has warned that firms could still face carbon taxes from the European Union, but Badenoch says we need to protect British industry first.
Whether it's oil refineries or Denby pottery, we are losing everything. Let's focus on what we can produce here at home. And we are creating this problem for ourselves by taxing these companies into oblivion.
To call Kanye West problematic might be understating the case. The rapper and fashion mogul has been deliberately caught in controversy for some time now, from a song called Heil Hitler to swastika t-shirts. He's been well and truly cancelled by many brands, including Nike. This week saw Wireless Festival announcing that Ye would be headlining all 3 days of this year's event at Finsbury Park. The press releases says Kanye's UK comeback will be an extraordinary chapter in Wireless's story, but the move has immediately attracted criticism from London Mayor Sadiq Khan and Jewish groups concerned over anti-Semitism. Lib Dem leader Sir Ed Davey says action needs to be taken.
The Home Secretary should ban him from coming to this country. We've got to take anti-Semitism more seriously. We can't have people like him with that horrible song coming.
Still to come on today's Smart 7 in association with Metro, it's FA Cup quarter-final weekend and Dan Levy gets fashionable right after this.
In 2024, a truck crashed into Kanawha Animal Rescue, where I work. 146 of our dogs needed homes fast. We asked for help on Facebook. Our story spread through WhatsApp messages and Instagram reposts. Immediately, people stepped up.
I'm
And just 6 hours later, every dog was fostered. I'll never forget how our community showed up for us.
Learn how over 3.5 billion people connect to what matters with Meta at meta.com/community.
Welcome back.
This weekend sees the FA Cup quarter-finals take place, with 3 games on Saturday and 1 on Sunday. The Sunday game sees West Ham face Leeds, while on Saturday, Man City welcome Liverpool, Southampton travel to Arsenal, and Port Vale head to Chelsea. Port Vale may be in the quarter-finals, but they're also in a pretty tough position at the bottom of Division 1 and facing relegation. However, they've been on an incredible FA Cup run, knocking out Sunderland in the 5th round, and now head to Stamford Bridge to take on one of the Premier League's top sides. Manager John Brady says his side are understandably nervous.
They've got an incredible squad. You know, they're World Club champions, and, you know, for us, we said Sunderland would be the ultimate test, but it was at home. And this, you know, away in world football, it's a huge test for any top club.
You'll know Dan Levy from Schitt's Creek, the series he co-created and starred in with Father Eugene Levy, but he's been pretty quiet since it came to an end. But he's back and hoping to repeat the magic with new Netflix series Big Mistakes. He once again co-created, this time with I Love LA's Rachel Sennett, and he stars as a gay pastor who, along with his sister, played by Taylor Ortega, stumble into a life of crime. He's also been busy modelling at a recent Paris Fashion Week, and he popped up with Jimmy Fallon to talk about his new show and what fashion is really like behind the scenes.
Yeah, I look good.
Yeah.
It was so hot. And I'm so polite. Like, I committed to the look. The look is like a wool coat. Could not be hotter. And then every person I said hello to could feel the heat.
There's a new action comedy movie on the way that looks like a lot of fun. It's called Over Your Dead Body, and it stars Jason Segel of How I Met Your Mother and Shrinking fame, along with Samara Weaving, the former Home and Away star turned horror movie queen. It follows the story of a troubled couple who go on vacation to reconnect, but it turns out they've both been plotting each other's murder. It's directed by former Lonely Island star Jorma Taccone, and it's already certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. It hits cinemas on April 24th.
I think you were going to cut me up and sink me to the bottom of the lake.
You wouldn't have felt anything.
Oh, okay.
Because I am considerate.
Yeah, you're real considerate. Should we renew our vows and do it on the table?
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes and we'll give you the world.